There once was a man named Gold Roger who was king of the pirates. He had fame, power, and wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Before they hung him from the gallows, these were the final words he said.
Our perspective is yours for the taking, but you'll have to join us first. We left everything we debated at the Yonko table.
Ever since, pirates from all over the world set sail for the Grand Line, searching for the Yonko table, the table that will make their dreams come true.
Yo, folks, that is the voice of your Yonko host, Dr. Jay Saturni, and we're here for the grand finale of The Last of Us TV adaptation, and I'm sure there's a lot to be said about this finale, both for returning fans that have played the game, and even some new fans that maybe we're not expecting this episode to occur. I do want to give a shout out to Dr. Mondo. He could not be here today, but as he claimed last week, he predicted this ending when he was playing the game not too long ago. And I called BS. He didn't call this ending. BS. But with me, as always, is fellow Yonko Grandmaster Hoob. Grandmaster, how are you feeling about the finale to The Last of Us? What is your emotional state?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Mixed emotions. Finale somewhat felt like I was like, damn, y'all gonna cut it off right there?
And let me tell you, that's how the game ended.
Which I feel, I guess I get it. And I'm like, well, damn, you're gonna really let this marinate. You're gonna let this cook. You're gonna let me have to be okay with what just happened here.
Are you not okay? Are you conflicted?
I am very conflicted. And
Okay, let me ask this. Are you conflicted with whether if you liked that ending or not, or
oh no, I love the ending. I love the ending.
Okay, you love the
ending.
ending.
I'm conflicted though with character decisions.
Okay. See that's how you're supposed to.
And yes, an ending. Obviously, the story's not over, so it's like, you know.
Right. Oh my god, I just because there's a sequel, and it takes away a little bit from it, because you're like, back then, if this was your game and you played it and there's no signs of a sequel, it's like, accept it for what it is. This is the story.
Right. So now that I mean, of course, we know there's going to be another season. Just the ending, I feel, left me like I now have to contemplate more versus accepting what just happened. I feel I'm going to take an Ellie route of thinking and just be like, am I okay with this? I know there's a lie here, but do I just move on and accept it? Like, is this not what I've also too been longing for like my whole life?
A
daddy, a dad, a father figure, companionship, true love, but at what cost?
At what cost? That's the big question. I'm sure we're gonna spend a lot of time on the decisions made in this episode from characters and whether they were the right decisions or the humane decisions. But let's talk about the first part of the episode, because this was actually new, right? We didn't see this in the game. This is not in the game. This is not in the game. Anne, played by Ashley Johnson, who played Ellie.
Did you know this before?
I did know this before, because I'm telling you that when the scene wait, did I know it was Ashley Johnson, or did I know?
Did you know who Ashley Johnson was watching this episode?
Yes. It's impossible not to know, because literally when she was running through the forest and panting, I heard her grunts and I thought it was a time skip. For the first couple seconds, I'm like, wait, did they time skip to an older Ellie? Because that's Ellie's voice. Before I even saw her face, Ellie's voice is just ingrained in my head. I know exactly how she sounds like. Ashley Johnson is literally, you know how some actors or actresses, when they lend their voice to like a character, whether it's like a game, cartoon, whatever, it's just them talking. Like, it's just their natural voice. So like Dante Bosco voicing Zuko is just Dante Bosco. That's just his voice. Same with I forget her name, the one that does Cora.
Janet Varney.
Janet Varney, when she speaks, it is literally just Cora's voice. Like, that's it. Same with Ashley Johnson. She speaks, I just hear Ellie. That is literally what it is. And as soon as I saw, I'm like, oh, wow. Of course they had to use her. They had to use her to some capacity. If they're throwing in Troy Baker, somehow they better bring in Ashley Johnson.
I mean, I think they gave Ashley Johnson a bigger role than they did Troy.
For sure. Yes. They definitely gave her more. But I mean, it's almost poetic in a way because, and they say,
yes.
They say it in the behind the scene episode, where, what is it? Like, this is a character Ashley Johnson holds very dear to her heart. And here you have her in the TV show, like being a motherly, like, you know, birth figure to that character. Like she birthed the character both literally and figuratively.
It's a literal passing of the torch.
I thought it was beautiful. I love that. I'm glad that they got her to play that role. But you know, you heard of Ellie's mom in the background, like maybe once from Marlene in the game, and that's it. That's all you get.
Have we?
In the game? Like
once. In the game.
Yes. I think in the show you get it once, but it's like a throwaway line. Like Marlene's talking about I don't remember if it's Marlene or Ellie, but I remember it's a line that was said, and it's like a blink and you miss it, where they mention Ellie's mom.
I'm telling you,
that's it.
I don't recall Marlene ever mentioning connections to Ellie's mom, because now I have questions. I have questions that this cold opening dares me to ask.
What is it daring you to ask?
Well, I guess, you know, here we establish that Marlene and Ellie's mom know each other. Their connection is deeper than just, hey, Riley, go get your friend out and go hang out in the mall for a bit. Convince her to come with us, you know?
Wait, Riley?
Riley.
Yeah. What about
Ellie's
Riley?
friend.
Yeah, that's not Marlene's. She's not related to Marlene.
I know she's not related to Marlene.
Oh,
but
what
everything is connected. Ellie's with Fedra. What did Marlene drop Ellie off at Fedra's doorstep saying she'll be safe here?
Oh, that's your question.
Oh my, stay with me.
No, you're losing me. You're losing me.
It's not hard.
You're
Ellie
making it hard.
And Marlene has known Ellie since she's a child. Yet when we first meet Ellie, as far back as the past is concerned, Ellie is with Fedra.
Right.
Marlene is a Firefly. How does
Right.
that happen?
They did mention it. I don't remember the detail, but they did mention it in the show already, why Ellie was with the Firefly.
All right, so there's that. 2, now's the time to start moving out of Boston. Riley, Ellie's friend, who, you know, obviously likes Ellie more than just a friend and whatnot.
Okay.
Marlene says, go get your friend. Tell her to come join us. Go get your friend. I don't care who your friend is.
Okay.
Obviously, she knows who the friend is.
She doesn't know what friend it is, because Riley could just be saying, I'm going to be getting a friend. And
She knows
Marlene's
her.
like, okay, go get your friend, I guess.
I don't buy it. She knows.
I
She
guess.
knew. Too coincidental. There's no way this is not coincidence.
So then how's it explained if she does know? How's it explained?
They'll explain it in season 2.
They don't. I'll tell you that.
They're
right
not
now.
jumping
They
to
don't.
part 2. They're not jumping. They're giving us
they-
the in-between.
They're not. I promise you they're not.
They're
but-
giving us the in-between.
Either way, you get this scene with Ashley Johnson playing Ellie's mother, and you don't get this in the game at all. You don't get any visual representation of Ellie's mother and how she was born or brought into this world. The show wants to adapt that, expand on it, and they show Ellie's mom getting chased by like an infected, and right before she's about to give birth, the infected attacks her. She kills it, but not before it ends up biting or scratching her on the leg. And then she gives birth. And then she cuts the umbilical cord. And I went back to pay attention to that scene because I'm like, wait, is she Did she lie? Did she lie
lied.
here?
She lied.
She gives
She
birth.
definitely lied.
Marlene and her crew of fireflies, I guess, come over and they're like, whoa, Ellie, are you okay? And she's not. She's bitten. She's somehow been okay with this child and hasn't turned for a good number of hours, possibly. And she hands her over to Marlene. And she's like, hey, put me out of my misery, but take care of this kid. I didn't breastfeed it because, you don't know about like the infection, if that's going to make Ellie turn. And I don't, did Marlene ask, or did Ellie just tell her like about when she cut the umbilical cord? Did Marlene ask about it first?
No. She said it.
Is it Anna?
Anna.
Anne.
Or whatever. Anna, I don't know.
She tells her first. She's like, oh, don't worry. I got bit after I cut the umbilical cord. And Marlene gives her that eyeball,
Correct. Because she would have been born.
Right. And I guess it's something that kind of, see, I'm sure some fans like have always wanted to know what made Ellie immune, like what made her special. Was it just like a random thing in the gene pool that's like, oh, just here you go, she's immune? Most people accepted it as just a way for them to tell the story, like, oh yeah, naturally there's got to be someone that's immune out there to this this virus. But this, I would say this scene kind of more or less adapts and explains why Ellie is immune. And it's because she was born and her mother was bitten while the umbilical cord was still attached. So I guess because she wasn't attached for that long, some of that DNA from the infected mixed with hers, and that's now she has antibodies against it, so she does not become an infected. So I guess I'm fine with that. It's something new.
Oh, they never explained it before, huh?
They've never explained it before because you didn't know the circumstances of Ellie's birth. You never saw her mother. You never saw what, you don't know anything about, like, oh, her mother was bitten and she was given birth before she was bit or whatever. Like, you don't know any of that. And they don't care to explain it because the only explanation you get for Ellie's immunity in the game is she's immune. That's it. There's nothing more.
So let me get this straight. Her mom gets bit.
Mom gets bit.
Then quadriceps start moving towards Ellie's brain because of the umbilical cord.
Right.
Cuts it off.
Right.
These guys need to live, so they can't kill the host.
Wait. Pause. Who? They need
The
to live?
quadriceps. The quadriceps. They need to live.
What quadriceps?
In Ellie.
Oh, okay. So you're saying the cordyceps in Ellie needs to live?
Yeah, so they didn't kill their host. It's just a baby.
No, that's not. No.
Then what happened?
Not a lot of it went into her system because, again, she did not breastfeed her. She didn't breastfeed her because likely that was going to cause her to become infected.
Correct.
It was just she was born, the virus, and again, it's that thing where it's like how much of the infection is transferred from mother to child. Because she, Anna was just bitten right then and there. And then Ellie cut the cord. So it's like, okay, well, she didn't cut it, immediately, but she didn't wait too long before cutting it. So I feel like she got infected with a low dose enough to where she doesn't turn, but her body naturally adapts to the infection, or it naturally develops antibodies against it to where she doesn't turn into it. The cordyceps is not inside her, like saying, I can't die, but I gotta keep living so I won't kill the host.
So Ellie got vaccinated.
To a degree. Where's Dr. Mondo when you need him for something like this?
Ellie was the first one to be vaccinated.
The Last of Us is a pro-vax show. Go figure.
Look at that.
But yeah, and then of course, Marlene agrees to take the child. And I find it kind of messed up on Marlene that Ellie, God, I keep calling her Ellie because it really is Ellie. Anna asked Marlene, like, hey, put me out of my misery. Don't leave me like this. And Marlene's like, no. and she leaves. I thought she was gonna tell like one of her soldier friends to do it instead, so that she doesn't have to do it. But she was about to leave. It took oh God, it took Anna screaming, saying, "No, please don't leave me like this." And then Marlene's like, "Oh, okay, fine. We've only known each other since childhood. I guess I can help you out." And then, bam, she ends it. She ends it. Did you like this backstory? Were you okay with it?
I'm fine with it.
You're satisfied. Good.
It makes everything seem everything comes together. Everything happens for a reason. Marlene knew the mother the whole time. So of course Marlene's gonna do whatever she can to get this girl across the country. Of course she's gonna choose Joel to protect this girl. She's the daughter of her best friend. And she knows Joel can protect this girl.
Right.
And then, I guess this adds a layer of heartbreak, eventual heartbreak that happens at the end of the episode. But also, too, there's just never a good moment, Here we have a birth and a death all in one. There is no death without birth, and there's no birth without death,
How poetic.
Correct. Ellie was brought into this world, but at the death of her mother,
Right.
And her mother gave birth, dying to protect Ellie.
Right. The story
Poetic.
does not have a happy ending.
No, none of these stories have had any happy endings. What are we fighting for?
Just surviving. It's just survival. But from there, that with that brief flashback, you kind of jump back to the present, and now it's Ellie and Joel. And Ellie's did you feel that Ellie was different from this point on?
Yes, of course.
What do you think that's attributed to? Like, just what happened last episode, or just kind of the culmination of everything?
I think it's a mix of things.
Okay.
I think it's one, yes, she's coming off of the trauma that is episode 8, and David, is that his name?
David.
David, right. So she's coming off of that trauma.
That's still fresh.
2, Joel's over here saying, "It's all right, baby girl." And in that moment at the end of episode 8, it was probably she just felt safe, right? But now Joel's over here, "Hey, I'm in the mood for Chef Boyardee. Hey, if you want to beat me in a game, this Boggle, and this is the game to do it. It's a word game. I'm not good with words." And he's putting on this fatherly act really hard and really quick.
Did you feel like it was too much?
It was too much. It was so much for her to process. And I get it. He's like, "You've been quiet all day." And it's just like, she got to think about this. She's never had this before, ever. Joel was never like this before, and obviously it was growing to this idea. However, now that it's here, it's like, oh, this is real. I finally broke through to Joel, but now he's giving me all of him. This is who he actually is.
A goofball.
A goofball beneath the murder, beneath all the
There's
crap
layers. He's
an
an onion.
Right. We're at his core now. What really makes him tick. And I get it. She doesn't know how to process it.
I feel like part of it too is like, they're the closest they've ever been to their goal, which is reaching the Fireflies. And she also doesn't know how to process, like, she doesn't know what they're gonna do with her. Like, I doubt she thinks she's going to die from going to the Fireflies and making a cure or whatever, but she doesn't know what the end goal in this, and she's kind of scared. She doesn't know. There's a fear of the unknown, and she doesn't want to go with Joel, and Joel's trying to be his happiest that he's ever been, and Ellie's just not in that state of mind right now, with a mix of he's being too much, she's fresh off of what happened from last week's episode, and in this week's episode, we're about to meet the Fireflies, and we don't even know what they're gonna tell us or what they're gonna do to me to make a cure. So she's scared. She's naturally scared. And this scene was in the game. I'm glad they kept it. That brief moment of beauty where they find a giraffe. They find that family of giraffes, and they're just playing with them, and Ellie is like being herself again. It's that brief moment of innocence that is reflective there. And you see Joel give her a look. He's like, oh man, this is exactly what I've been fighting for this whole time. That's the Ellie. That's the Ellie that I want to protect. And it obviously, I don't remember if it happened like this in the game. It probably did, but I hate it when fiction does this to like knock out someone to put them to sleep. They just get the butt of a rifle to the base of the skull.
Oh.
And it's like, wow, what an easy way to knock someone out without causing any permanent damage. Interesting. Wow.
Wait, you're skipping around.
What'd I miss? Go ahead. Help me out here.
After
It
the
looked like you were
giraffe-
holding something in.
After the giraffe bit, you know, they have the conversation where they kind of lay it all out, you know. Joel's like, we could just go back to Tommy's, you know, forget all of this, you know. And Ellie was like, this could not have been all for nothing. We gotta see it through to the end, you know. We
What
made
could
it
have been
here.
for nothing?
Right.
What
And so-
could not have been for nothing?
Sam. She mentioned Sam. Who else did she mention?
Well, she kind of
Damn.
just generalized everything. She said
Yeah,
everything
she
that we've been through, everything that I've done.
Right.
So, like, specifically referencing when she hacked David into pieces after what he was going to do to her.
Right. This all could not have been for nothing. So,
And I
She's
get
like-
it, you know, if she decides to go back, it's like, well, damn, that means I went through that trauma and we lost all those people, all those friends we made along the way, because and it was for nothing. It was for nothing. It could have all been avoided if we go
And-
back. If we go back.
right. And she's like, no, we see this through. But after it's done, I'm with you. Wherever you want to go. Tommy's, the moon, we're in this together. And it's a nice setup right there, because, you know, again, they're about to pull the rug from under you. They're like, they're gonna see this through, and they're gonna be on their merry way, you know. And I think also too with the giraffes was just a nice moment to kind of relax, you know, don't overthink everything, you know.
Right.
Let's put things in perspective. Joel's gonna always protect me, you know, and there is still beauty in this world. Now we jump to, on the back of the head.
Oh, with the gun.
Yes, because from
Go ahead.
well, I'm just saying from here, you know, it just kind of takes a left turn.
So let me ask you this before we get to the hospital scene. I want to ask you, because you've shielded yourself from all manners of spoilers from
Correct.
The Last of Us, you know, the part 1, I guess. Everyone's calling it part 1 now. This is kind of to throw our good supernova friend, Dr. Mondo, under the bus a little bit. Let me ask you this, because you've been blind up until now.
Sure.
Did you expect anything involving the hospital scene to occur from before we get there? Did you expect anything like that to unfold? Whether it's the revelation of what is needed for the cure with Ellie, or Joel going gorilla mode into the hospital? Did you see any of that at all?
How could I see any of it?
How could you have? How
I
could you
didn't.
have?
No, I didn't know. No, I had no idea if the Fireflies were gonna be there. I had no idea that, you know, any amount of surgery we have to go into the brain. I thought it was just gonna be Let's get her blood.
Let's get her
analyze-
blood. Let's get a blood plasma sample.
You mean to tell me they can't analyze her blood? They got to go straight to the brain.
They gotta go straight to the core, baby.
Even if you got to go straight to the brain, you can have brain surgery done. And yet,
it's in the stem. It's at the base of the brain, inside the stem.
Great.
You gotta crack it open like a coconut.
And you put it back.
They're not. I like how the surgeons, they were like very all particular. And I'm like, just get that chisel and just crack it open. You know you're not gonna let that girl live.
I mean, it just seemed like any kind of, when Marlene shows up, she starts talking. I'm like, all right.
Walk me through what you're thinking.
I'm like, okay, Marlene, you lived. Good job,
Good.
Marlene.
She had a bullet in her stomach, I think, last time.
Right, where we last saw her, right. She commends Joel for getting Ellie all the way here.
Okay.
Knowing he could be he's the one to do it. She's talking about, I lost 5 men on the way here. And you did this, just you.
He's a monster.
Right. And then, she drops the bomb. The cordyceps send a signal to tell other cordyceps not to infect this girl's brain. Immunity. We got to get in there, study those cells, mass reproduce them, save humanity. But, she's got to go because she's just cargo. Remember?
Just cargo.
She's just cargo. You were doing this for Tess. Oh, Tess was another one they mentioned. You were doing this for Tess. You did it. Tess would be happy. You can go now. And then he's like, where is she? And from the moment, it's like where is she? And then it's like, no, Joel. It's a no. It's a no. And he's like, where is she?
What is that? No, what is that? Batman?
Where are they?
Ew, no.
And then Marlene's like, take him out to the freeway. Give him this and his pack when you get him out there. They're like,
oh, go ahead.
They basically said, you did your job, Joel. Time to go.
Goodbye. You had that one soldier that was just like that kid with the stick poking the lion. He kept like pushing his shoulder. He is walking for the most part. Like, why do you keep shoving this man, like provoking the damn lion?
Tell you could stop.
I don't remember anyone saying to stop. Keep walking. And they just keep moving. I'm like, oh my God, are you guys like this Monday through Friday? Like, what is this? Jesus Christ.
I think what this just shows is that just like Fedra, everybody gets into dark places, even the ones who you think are morally good.
Right, the ones that are going to save the world, maybe.
I mean, they're trying to save humanity, but it seems they lost some of theirs.
Ooh. Oh,
Ooh.
How Socratic of you. Wow.
Well, I think, the big thing here was, it beckons back to when Joel was going to leave Ellie and, he changed his mind and says, you deserve a choice. They weren't going to give her a choice.
Yeah,
it's going to be painless, Joel. She's going to be fine. Well,
she doesn't even know. Like,
right.
He told her that she doesn't know. She's asleep. She's not going to feel anything. So here, I just want to feel, I want to pick at your brain as you were watching this.
Sure.
So Marlene's telling him to leave. What did you think was going to happen from here? Or were you just in the moment? Like, you weren't really thinking about what's going to happen next? Like,
all right, I just knew he wasn't going to leave.
Okay.
I just knew he wasn't going to leave, but I was like, all right, I know you're not going to leave. I know you're going to go back and get her. But what are you willing to do to go back and get her? And from the moment where he took out the first guy,
the monster, the Joel that's been rumored in legends.
Well,
so long.
this is completely different from what it's crazy because this is what we should have been seeing the whole entire series.
What?
This Joel, this diehard, I don't know, any action movie gun
What is he
star.
John Wick?
Yes.
Liam Neeson in Taken.
Sure. Because he's literally like, you know, he shoots the guy who wasn't pushing him first. And then he's like, where's the girl? Fuck you, man. I don't got time for this. Boom. And then this is probably the best use of the score I've heard. This slow down version of the theme playing. And Joel's just going through, mowing everybody. And it's not even like he's calm, he's collected. He shot the dude through the glass. And I was like, oh God, he's not stopping.
Right.
He's not stopping. Ducks, boom, 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 puts everybody down. Gets that other guy's ammo in his gun when he runs out. I'm like, he's not stopping. He's not stopping.
He's gonna save his baby girl.
But it's like, part of me is like, it's this. Now here's kind of the moral high ground, the gray area. The Fireflies are not necessarily bad people, you know.
Right.
They're not out here eating people.
Mhm.
They're not out here doing inhumane things to other people, you know. They're fighting for humanity. And Joel just says, that's not good enough.
Screw humanity. Well, actually, it's poetic in a way where he's willing to become the monster that he used to be to save what little humanity he was able to get back from Ellie.
And let me say this too. Another good setup moment was he and Ellie had a conversation about Sarah, you know, how he hesitated. He mentioned,
oh, right. Yeah.
Right. He mentioned how he hesitated. And that's what, you know, she was already gone. He even goes as far in mentioning where this comes from.
Oh,
you
the
know?
scar. Yeah.
Right. And how he tried to, you know,
Right.
and
Right.
he did it because,
He
you know,
hesitated.
he hesitated.
Flinched.
Right. And yes, Ellie's like, time heals all things. And he's like, not this time. Or he says, like, it wasn't time that did it. And he's looking at her.
Right.
And as you
She's
said,
blushing.
it's the humanity. It's the humanity. Her innocence, her childlike behavior, their relationship brought him out of the darkness.
He can be
To
a
where
father
now
again.
Well, here we are now, and it's like, is this selfish?
Ooh, is it selfish? Is it because Joel likes to be on the moral high ground and say, well, you're not giving Ellie a choice. You're putting her through surgery and, you know, you're not telling her everything. And it's like, Joel, are you giving her a choice either? Are you killing everyone in this hospital, all the Fireflies, and taking... I won't jump too far ahead, but everything that Joel does is hypocritic. It's hypocritical. He's doing the same thing that he's criticizing the Fireflies of doing. Let me say, this sequence in the game where you're going through the hospital is probably, I think, the hardest segment, one of the hardest segments in the freaking game.
Oh, really?
Yes, because everyone, I mean, because, like, you know, when you go through, like, the outside world of the game, you know, most of the time it's like bandits or raiders, and they're just, you know, they don't have armor on. They have, like, maybe a
Sure.
pistol and or a bat. Everyone in this sequence has assault rifles, decked out with helmets, so you can't get headshots easily. They have flashlights on their guns. This is like a SWAT team, like a full-on weaponized unit, and you fight so many of them, and it's hard because it's just you. It's Joel, and again, Pedro Pascal did it perfectly in this episode. He's just going in, as John Rambo or Liam Neeson or John Wick, and he's just mowing them down one by one. They almost montage it in a way, because like at one point they're like, all right, let's just speed through this, because there's bodies like on the floor, and you're like, wait a minute, you didn't show him killing 20 guys in that last shot, but there's 20 bodies on the floor right now. It's just a show. It's just a show.
And I was fine with it. Yeah, I was like, this is a video game moment that does not fully need to translate into show. Like, we're not here playing the game, you know. And also it's an action show, but it's like the action is not what makes this show.
Right,
you know?
Exactly.
What we needed to see was the determination.
And it's there.
Joel's determined. He's not stopping.
And you know, it doesn't just stop at, you know, the military people. I mean, they're not military, but the people with weapons. He gets into the hospital room where Ellie is being put under. She's about to go through the procedure, and you get the surgeon. The surgeon, he's like, he grabs the scalpel. He's like, don't do it.
He says, I can't let you take her.
I can't let you take her. And Joel just, boom.
Oh, I was like, oh,
Did you expect that? Did you expect that?
No, I didn't expect that. I was like, Joel, okay, he's going to give the nurses and the doctor so they can try to maybe do this again with some other unwilling child, you know, and save humanity.
And he drew that scalpel, man. He was a threat. As soon as he drew that scalpel, Joel saw him as a red threat enemy, and he pulled the trigger. I thought he was gonna kill the other two as well, but the nurses, but it makes sense that he didn't. You know,
they listened. They listened.
All he said was step away from her, unplug her. That's all he asked them to do.
And cover her arm.
And cover her arm. Yep. So Joel takes Ellie. He's making his way down the elevator. He's carrying her in his arms. Very poetic again, because the same way he carried Sarah, right? The same way he was carrying Sarah when she was when she sprained her ankle in episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
So he's carrying Sarah, and then out comes our girl Marlene.
The last line of defense.
What does she tell Joel? She's like, Joel, you may have murdered our entire faction in this hospital, but it's not too late. It's not too late to make the right choice. And Joel throws it back in her face. He's like, you're not giving her a choice. You're not giving her a choice. You're just, you know, doing what's best for humanity. And again, the goal of Ellie this entire time was to come to these people, the Fireflies, and she didn't know that she was gonna die, but you can assume that her goal in this was to do whatever it took to make this cure, to help in some way. And Marlene, I mean, she explained it perfectly to Joel. It's like, hey, the surgeon, he feels like he could make something out of this. It could possibly change the tide of the world for forever. This virus can go away. But Joel makes the selfish decision. Marlene is like trying to like open up to him. She's like, hey, listen, look, I'm putting the gun away. I'm genuinely trying to talk to you as a person. Think about what you're gonna do. Bam. Shoots her. Bam. Did you expect him to shoot her?
Well,
what did you think? What were you thinking?
Well, you got to remember, the way they cut this was that you don't know what happened.
I think it's the way in the game too.
It shows that Joel's driving, and then you hear Ellie waking up in the back.
Right.
And then I put it together. I was like, God, he shot her. There's no way Marlene's not dead, because
there's no way Marlene just like let him leave without
all this trouble, all that Joel's did. There's no way her mind was like, Joel gets to keep living. In any scenario, Joel lives. I think.
Even if he gave her back, even if he gave. Ellie
absolutely.
back?
He's too much of a wild card. He just killed all her troops.
Even the surgeon. I mean, there's probably not that many surgeons in this world.
Right. Brain surgeon.
Surgeon.
Right. So no scenario was she gonna leave Joel alive. So, okay, you pointed out he's carrying Ellie the same way that he did Sarah. Difference this time. One, there was no hesitation throughout any of this. You know, with the surgeon pulling out the scalpel, boom. Every single guard, boom. No hesitation. Here we are in another similar standoff that we've seen Joel time and time again throughout this season. We've seen it with him and Sarah. He failed. We've seen it with him at the end of episode 1. He that guard still got a shot off, but it missed. You know, but then he loses control, starts beating the crap out of him. We've seen it with the dogs.
Dogs?
The dogs, when they had that dog sniffing Ellie.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah.
That dog was sniffing Ellie.
Right.
And Joel just kind of closed his eyes and hoped that Ellie would make it out. You know, here we have the final standoff. Joel's in this situation again. Ellie's in his arms. Now it's full circle because it's just like Sarah. And he had the gun under Ellie's little robe, whatever you call those things.
Yeah,
the whole
gown,
time.
The gown.
Gown. Had it under the gown the whole time. You know, he already knew. He already knew. And then, you know, again, this logic, y'all just gonna keep coming after her.
I mean, the build up to that part too, because like at that point, it's not even like, you know, he shoots Marlene for the protection of Ellie, right? And then he goes over to the van, whatever. He puts Ellie in the van, and he hears Marlene in the corner. When he goes over to Marlene's not even worried about like, oh, please, Joel, make the right choice. Give me back Ellie. Leave her here. Marlene's just afraid for her life. She's immobilized. She can't do anything. And she's like, let me live. Like, don't kill me. And Joel, like, right then and there, it's just the logic of it all to protect what humanity is right there in the car that he just put in. You're just going to come after her. No hesitation, boom. Didn't even give her a chance to explain. Like, I promise I won't come after. Boom. No. Not even giving you the chance to speak. And yeah, so like you're in the car. Joel's driving. How did you feel about the story that he was telling Ellie about?
How convenient, Joel. How convenient
there's
of a
so
story.
many people immune.
Oh, that one, they have like some others that they're working on. What do you say? They didn't need you anymore?
They didn't need her, but like they were working on others, and they found out that there was no cure, even with the others.
Right, and then Raiders attacked the hospital. I got you out of there as soon as possible.
Is Marlene okay though?
And what did he say? Yeah.
You know, he stays quiet.
Oh yeah, he changes the subject. Right. And so when she flips over, I've seen that look before. That's I know you're lying, don't talk to me.
Oh wow.
You know, type of rollover. And it's like, and he says, I'm sorry. You know, he's to her face, he's saying he's sorry about what happened.
Oh, but is he saying I'm sorry for what he really did?
He's sorry for what he really did, right?
Ooh.
Right. Because they didn't tell her anything, you know.
Right.
But like, you know, she's not an idiot. She knows this would have helped. And I think she understands that were she to die, that would be okay with her, you know, seeing this thing all the way through.
Right.
However, she knows Joel would not go by that or be about it. And he's going to do what he's going to do. And he's not a good liar.
He's not a good liar. I mean, you see the scene, you know, they reach Tommy's settlement, or they're on like the hill overlooking Tommy's settlement. On the way there, Joel's trying to open up again, you know, trying to act like that father that he couldn't be for all these years. And Ellie's kind of, she's kind of there, kind of humoring it a little bit, but something's bothering her in the back of her mind. And then you get to the scene where they see Tommy's settlement, and then she just stops him. She's like, okay, wait, just wait. No, hold it. She asks him like, hey, what does she say? What does she say here? She says,
she tells him about Riley,
Riley, right?
And that was her opening up about her little lie, saying, one, she comes clean about killing people. It's like she killed Riley, her best friend.
Which she confirmed, by the way, like, even though it was naturally assumed, she waited till she turned and then she killed her.
Right. And, they were going to wait it out and hope for something better, but they ultimately knew that wasn't it. So the questioning going on here is like, is this us hoping for better? Because in the back of the mind, she still hasn't dropped it yet, right? But she's like, we had hope for the better. So she's like, if we're going to Tommy's place, is this us hoping for better? And he's like, yeah. And then she's like, then swear to me that story about the fireflies was real.
Because she wants to believe it too. Because in the back of her mind, she knows Joel is not telling the truth. But she wants to believe this fantasy for a better life rather than going through what she could have done, which was, sacrifice herself for the fireflies. And she's like, swear to me that you're telling the truth. And it's just a simple, I swear.
Okay.
Oh God, masterclass. And of course, it just fades to black, cut to credits, boom, done.
Yeah.
How did you feel after it all?
I was like,
did it leave you to ponder?
Well. I was like, this can't go well. She knows.
In what way?
Well, she knows he's lying. What is this going to do for their relationship moving forward?
Okay. Okay.
They were at such a good point by the beginning of this episode. Even if there was an ounce of hesitation, but the giraffe sequence brought it all together as far as everything's gonna be all right.
Ew.
And then now things are not. It's not gonna be all right. She knows he's lying. She knows that, well, what if it doesn't work out? What if things aren't good? We go to Tommy's settlement, then what? What if me being sacrificed for humanity was the better option? And now I'll never know.
Right.
Not only that, but we can't even talk about, what happened because you lied. You're lying.
And you're swearing that you're telling the truth. Like, she's confronting it, saying like, okay, there's a part of me that I'm making apparent to you that I don't believe what you just told me. So I'm going to be upfront about it and ask, swear to me that that bullshit story that you said is true, that it actually happened. And he swears. Doesn't hesitate. Doesn't hesitate.
Yep, he doesn't hesitate. Right. And just, moving forward, it just feels like their relationship will be further strained. To build off of a lie is not a good place to start building. At least where they are in their relationship, they finally crossed the threshold into acting like a father-daughter pair officially.
Right.
And now it's forever strained.
It is. And I mean, that's where the season ends, and that's how the game ended. And people, like, I was so hard pressed to find anyone that said the ending was bad. Maybe there were some people that said that, but I feel like unanimously, majority of people praise this ending. because it sparked a discussion of, you know, what does it mean to be human? What does it mean to fight for the greater good? And then when it comes to the characters, it goes back to what you said earlier. Was Joel being selfish by making that choice? And it comes down to the question, you could either say, yes, he's being selfish because he's only thinking about himself and how he feels when he's around Ellie as a father, or rather a father figure, or B, you're like, no, that's what being human is all about. He loves this girl as if it's his daughter, and he would do anything through that love to protect what humanity he has left, even if it means mowing down an entire battalion of armed militant soldiers, and then even shooting the person that, you know, cared for Ellie relatively since birth. And that was The Last of Us. That, you know, when the game came out, there was nothing about, like, you know, it was critically acclaimed, it sold well, but there was nothing about like, oh, get ready for The Last of Us 2, we're gonna make a squeakquel. But there was none of that. So you had to just accept The Last of Us was just a one and done story. It had a great world with the cordyceps and the infected and everything with the fireflies and the mythos around like all these different factions. But you had to accept it. It was a story about character, and the story was over. It did not need anything more beyond that. Most Last of Us fans will tell you that there was no need for a continuation beyond what happened. How do you feel? Like, obviously, you know,
that I know that there's more.
Well, you know that there is a part 2 for the game, right? There's a Last of Us part 2, but also you know that they are adapting part 2 in season 2. Season 2 is greenlit. It's in production. It's happening. But pushing that to the side, would you have been okay with The Last of Us just ending here as a one and done story, the way that it ended? Because that's what the mindset was. Because here, while you're thinking about it, I'm gonna look up when part 2 came out.
I just feel it leaves a lot to be desired. To further this relationship, to see how far it goes, and I feel I don't know. I feel, I mean, a gaming experience is different from a series experience.
Right.
You log more hours into a gaming experience. So I can imagine everything you've been through physically in the game. Like, you know, you're having to actually live out the moments of, you know, taking out all the fireflies in the hospital, taking out David and whatnot. Mm-hmm. If for the game to end right there, excuse me, I feel that would be fine, because you went through a lot. But as a series, you know, roughly 8 to 9 hours, to 10 hours, give or take. And it's like, there's a lot more to be desired, because we are third-party viewers versus, you know, third-party control-less of what's going on in the story. So I definitely feel I like the ending for a season 1, but I definitely feel I would not be okay if that's how it ended.
As a series, I
would want it to keep going. I would not want it to end right there, because I feel there's a lot more story to tell, especially that when you end it on a lie.
Right. I can accept that, because it's a different experience watching it as opposed to playing it. By the way, Last of Us, you know, this part 1 came out 2013.
Right.
The squeakquel came out in 2020. So
2020? It came out in 2020?
2020.
Really? Wow.
7 years later.
I didn't think it was that
big
of a gap.
Long.
Wow, 2020.
That's how long it was. And obviously, you know, they started development like
of course
2014, 2015, but yeah, that's when it came out. And it was like, Yeah, I guess if you're gonna do a sequel to part one, I guess it better take as long as that because you got to let it marinate.
I had no idea it came out in 2020. I thought it came out probably a little earlier, but cool. I mean, that's a good gap. That's a good time gap
It is.
between games. The damn near probably forget everything that happened in the first one.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, I damn near well did for the most part. The finer details, not obviously the big stuff like the choice Joel made at
Right.
the end. You don't forget that. But yeah, you know, I mean, as a show, you know, there's still more story to tell. I can accept that. We are getting a season 2 because I mean, they said it, and also there is a part 2. I don't think they'll be able to fit all of part 2 into one single season. I see them kind of splitting it off into 2 different ones. I don't know. We'll see. But now let me ask you this, because I was asking you this throughout sporadically throughout the previous episodes. How does it compare to The Walking Dead? Viewing experience.
It's not even a fair comparison.
It is fair.
They're two very different shows. Again, The Walking Dead very much feels.
You could judge it from like just season 1. Just judge it as a season 1 thing.
Oh no! See, I can't. I can't.
Do it.
No, I can't. I have to look at. I'm looking at The Walking Dead as a whole.
Weak.
The Walking Dead, as I said before, it feels like a comic book, and very much, I feel it plays out like a comic book. You know, every episode has an episode that probably features the walkers in some capacity. You know, it's like they need a constant reminder that, hey, remember, you're watching The Walking Dead. You know, I think it prioritizes kind of the action more than the actual character pieces. And you know, the other thing too about The Walking Dead is The Walking Dead's a really big ensemble. You know, well, when you have a big ensemble, it's kind of hard to make sure everybody gets their credit. You know,
right.
Some people slip into the background. Some people may not be relevant till seasons later, and you know, that makes it a tougher show to write. The Last of Us, we care about 2 people. We care about these 2 people.
Bill and Frank.
No, Ellie and Joel. We care about them, and they are the ensemble. Everybody else is brought in to lift their characters or give their characters an obstacle, or you know, or shed light on more of their story. Oh, good.
Oh man, hold it in. Do your best.
Sorry. But yeah, so with that said, The Last of Us doesn't bank on prioritize the action, and they don't need to constantly remind you that this world sucks. With the, you know, there's not an infected every episode, you know. They remind you that it sucks just with your 2 leads. You know, The Walking Dead, it's almost gimmicky at that point. You know, it's like the gimmick drives that show. You know, the infected do not drive this show. These 2 leads drive this show, you know?
Right.
So with all that said, 2 very different dramas.
Which one are you more invested in? Which one would you say you would have been more invested in?
I mean, if they came out at the same time,
relatively. I mean, like season 1. Just go by season 1.
I have no problem watching both.
That's
it's
okay.
Just
I'm just asking which one. Like
I'm not
asking you to dunk on one to praise the other.
I would have watched them both, but I knew I was probably gonna get a better character drama with The Last of Us.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen some comparisons of people trying to say, you know, what The Walking Dead did for its first season compared to The Last of Us. So that was why I was asking. But that's kind of where we leave Joel and Ellie for this time. And I mean, I imagine season 2 probably minimum 2 years from now is when we'll likely get it. There's a question as to whether or not they'll use Bella Ramsey to play an older Ellie. Because
Is that big of a that big of a time jump in the game?
from what I recall, it's like 5 years.
Interesting.
From what I recall. And I imagine they're going to start filming like right now, or not filming, but like, start production and then filming within like the next year or so. Ellie is more grown in part 2. She's more of an adult. And again, sometimes they just take liberties here and there with like characters and dialogue and how certain people look. So maybe they won't use an older Ellie like they did in The Last of Us part 2, the game. But that is something that they're going to have to make a decision on. Do you use Bella Ramsey, who was supposed to be a younger 14-year-old Ellie, who plays a great 14-year-old Ellie? Are you going to use her to play 19-year-old Ellie? Because that, again, she's bigger, she's more grown, and you can tell Ellie got density and calluses in her hands by part 2. She could swing. Ellie can swing in part 2.
Sure.
And again, it's I don't want to talk about part 2 too much. Because at the risk of spoilers and whatnot, the one thing I'll say is that I'm hoping that Neil Druckmann in adapting this season of The Last of Us, and also the other guy, the director, executive
Craig
producer, Craig Mazin. I'm hoping that in working together and seeing the reaction to the Last of Us TV adaptation, I hope it reminds them as to what made the first Last of Us great, like in terms of story, character, and just telling a journey that people want to be on. I want them to be reminded of that as they go into season 2, because a lot of these things can come down to pride. And the elephant in the room, Last of Us Part 2 was not viewed favorably by a big portion of the fandom. Excusing all the, not really excusing it, but shoving off the homophobia and all the bigotry aside, because there was a lot of it in part 2. But for a story, the way part 2 tells its story, it needs to be fixed. It needs to be changed. And I'm hoping Neil and everyone else on the production side do not have this ego trip where they're like, nope, that's my baby. I'm going to tell it exactly the way I did it for the game. I don't care what anyone says. We're going to show everyone and all the incels that this is the greatest story ever told. I'm hoping they don't do that. We'll have to wait and see. I hope that they understand what made part 1 so great by making this show, and they take that into making part 2. Because I feel like there potentially could be a great story in part 2, but what we got for the game version of it is not good. It's not. It just goes into ugly territory for the sake of I don't even want to say the theme, because the theme may even spoil it either. I'll
say no more. Say no
stay
more.
away from it. But overall, on your ranking list, how would you rank the show score wise? Or you don't have to give it a score. Just what do you think overall? Did you like this journey? Did you enjoy it? 9 weeks?
Yeah, no, I was very invested for the length of the show. Very much enjoyed the story of Ellie and Joel. No, I think it's worth the investment. I don't think it's a perfect show, which is fine. But I think they did a really great job. And as far as adaptations go, from what y'all have told me, from what I've seen from other people say, this adaptation was successful in my third-party eyes. I'd probably give this show. I'll be favorable. I'd probably give it a 9. And I say that because at times it really was moving. And I have to shout out episode 5, Sam and Henry.
5.
I have to. I have to shout out episode 6 with the everybody I've ever loved or known has died except you.
Don't take another step further.
Right. That scene right there, top tier. And I think episode 7, I really enjoyed episode 7 too, the mall. Of course, episode 3 as well with Bill and Frank as well.
Bill and Frank. Was good.
No, I think the show does a really good job at capturing this world. And again, it's not an ensemble. If you're not invested in the 2 leads, you're not going to be invested in the show. So Pedro and Bella did a kick-ass job.
They did.
Making you care about just these 2. Because in this type of show, you think you'd be spending more time, with a group of people. But no, they said, this is it. Get on board or go watch The Walking Dead.
Oh, wow. Go enjoy it. I mean, I will say I'm at a 9 too. It definitely has some issues here and there, specifically Kathleen's character. I mean, it's just minor things here and there that I wasn't a fan of. But overall, I mean, this show's fantastic. This is you good there, buddy?
Oh yeah.
Did you slip and fall?
No.
I think this is a good substitute for playing the game. And I did not think I could tell anyone that for practically any, medium that's transferred over to a new one, whether it's game to movie or movie to game. This is a perfect substitute. You don't have to play the game if you don't want to. I still recommend it. I still recommend playing the game, but you already know what happens and you understand the story. You are primed and ready. If you wanted to, if you wanted to do this, you are primed and ready to start Last of Us Part 2, the game. If you wanted to start right now, if you wanted to start tonight, you'll be absolutely ready. Nothing is missing.
Are you talking to me or are you talking to our viewers?
In general, you specifically, or even the viewers, you could do that. If you watched The Last of Us Season 1, look at him. He already left to start his new game.
I might go play this bad boy right here.
Oh God, the remaster. Jeez.
I have it. It's been collecting dust.
Unbelievable. So, wow.
Yeah.
But now you got.
And it comes with Left Behind in it.
Yes, it does. It does.
Ooh.
But you should play the remake. Play the remake. Morty. Play the remake, Morty.
Oh no, I'm all right. I'll just play the remaster.
But yeah, if you wanted to just skip it, you could play Part 2 if you wanted to. Absolutely okay. You will not be left in the dark. Well, again, that's just for the story purposes, so you could see what the story is. I still don't recommend playing The Last of Us Part 2. But yeah, you can. That's how good Part 1 is. That's how great the show is. You have that choice. You have that choice. No one's taking that away from you. You have that choice.
Like Ellie.
Exactly.
They took that choice from her, which I'm sure she actually would have sacrificed herself.
I think she would have. Just knowing her and how she is, I think she would have done that. I think she would have done that. But yeah, I think that kind of wraps up our thoughts overall on The Last of Us Part 1. I keep calling it Part 1. This is crazy. Last of Us Season 1. Last of Us Season 1. I think both of us and majority of people that have been on the pod have enjoyed The Last of Us. I've met people that are not even gamers that have been watching The Last of Us, and they are head over heels for it. It's crazy.
My friend watches The Last of Us. She listens to the pod too.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yep. So she's very, very into it. I think this show did its job.
I think it did. It brought in new fans. It satisfied old ones. And it did what it set out to do, telling the story of The Last of Us, the video game, in a TV show formula. or TV show format. So if you haven't seen The Last of Us, it's a short season, 9 episodes. That's not long to commit for a whole series. And you'll probably have 2 years, about 2 years before season 2 comes out. And yeah, any final thoughts on The Last of Us before we close away?
Pedro Pascal. He might be the man of the decade.
Of the decade. Wow.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It seems he can't do any wrong.
I don't think he hasn't missed yet.
I don't think he's missed. Kingsman 2, I mean, he was fine in it, but the movie itself wasn't that good.
He's in the second one?
He is in the second one.
I don't remember him. Wow.
See, exactly.
I mean, this might have been before I knew him personally, like as an actor.
Fair enough. But no, overall, I don't think he's missed. Bella Ramsey, on the come up. I need to see what more she's done. Check her out in Game of Thrones, folks. If you haven't seen her in Game of Thrones. Oh, come on. She's in
the worst season.
She first debuts in season 6.
Mid.
Nah, she's good. Baby Mormont.
Baby Mormont.
But that's because I can't remember her first name. But I recommend watching this show. I recommend y'all listen to our pod and hearing our takes if you're ever confused on what transpired, or if you just want some other perceptions, by all means. But I think it's worth the ride. And to be honest, as far as TV show adaptations go for video games, the bar has been set. Live action, the bar has been set.
I like that more because I know there's that conversation like this is the standard for video game adaptations now, and it's like we've had good ones before this. Let's
Correct.
Relax. We've had Castlevania. We've
Correct.
had Sonic the Hedgehog. We've had plenty. We've had plenty. But this is for live action adaptation. Here we go. God of War, Amazon.
Looking
at you. This is the standard.
Your boy said the same thing.
Oh yeah,
Balrog.
Corey Balrog. He did.
He said the same thing. He said The Last of Us just made it really hard.
Good.
As it should be.
As it should.
We don't want mediocrity.
You do not. The bar has been set, and now I'm looking forward to God of War. Now I'm looking forward because I know now it's possible for Sony and the executives that own these properties. They're like, hey, let's make this good.
Right.
We can make a good show. So we'll see with God of War. In the next, 2 years or something like that.
We shall see.
We shall see. But that's all that we have to say, folks, for The Last of Us Season 1. Tune in for each of the episodes that we released these last several weeks. We covered each and every episode from episode 1 through the finale, which is episode 9. And you get a deep dive on each and every single one of our takes on what we thought of each episode. So give that a whirl when you have the chance. And let us know what you think down below of the season finale for The Last of Us, wherever you're listening to us on, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, at The Yonko Table. Let us know what you think. We're signing off here. I'm your Yonko host, Dr. Jake Attorney, fellow Yonko Grandmaster Hoop. Signing off. Take care.